5.65 billion euros. That's how much European regulators have publicly fined companies under one privacy law. The fines, the names, the sectors, every single one sitting in a free, searchable database that almost nobody outside the privacy bubble has ever actually opened. Today we're going to talk about why that database matters, who should be reading it, and what it tells us about the next decade of cyber liability. It's called the GDPR Enforcement Tracker, enforcementtracker.com. It's run by the law firm CMS, and it's been quietly cataloging every public GDPR fine since the regulation went live in 2018. As of the last full report, more than 2,500 enforcement actions, totaling roughly 5.65 billion euros in penalties. That's not a typo, billion with a B, from a single regulation. So why does this database exist? And more importantly, why should anyone in the United States care? Let me give you 7 reasons. Reason 1, compliance benchmarking. The number one question privacy lawyers get asked is, are we okay? The honest answer is, we don't know until somebody complains. The tracker is the next best thing. You can search by industry, by violation type, by article of the regulation, and see exactly what regulators have decided is unacceptable. It's case law without the Latin. Reason 2, risk pricing. Insurers, private equity firms, M&A teams, they all need to put a dollar figure on regulatory exposure. The tracker gives them a real-world distribution. If you are underwriting a cyber policy for a European retailer, you don't have to guess what a worst-case privacy claim looks like. SHEIN took 150 million, TikTok 530 million, Meta 1.2 billion. Those aren't theoretical, those are receipts. Reason 3, regulator profiling. Not every data protection authority is the same. Spain has issued more than 900 fines. Italy, Romania, Germany, all in the hundreds. Some authorities go after volume, some go after headline cases. If you operate in Europe, knowing which DPA enforces aggressively in your sector is not optional intelligence, it's table stakes. Reason 4, that sector heat. The tracker breaks fines down by industry. Telecommunications, media, retail, banking, but these sectors keep showing up in the top fine categories. If you sit in one of those, your job isn't to wait for the regulator. Your job is to read the last 50 fines in your industry and understand exactly what behavior is triggering enforcement. Reason 5, board reporting. Boards don't want philosophy, boards want numbers. The tracker lets a CISO or a privacy officer walk into a board meeting and say, here are the 10 companies, most like ours, that got fined this year. Here's what they did wrong, and here's the dollar amount we're trying to avoid. That conversation is dramatically more productive than yet another slide on the threat landscape. Reason 6, budget defense. Every security leader fights for funding. The tracker is the cleanest source of pain-based evidence you'll find. And when the CFO asks why you need another 2 million for data governance, the answer is not because attackers are scary. The answer is because the average fine in our sector last year was triple our request, and we can put that on a one-page chart from a public database. Reason 7, strategy and market intelligence. If you're building a privacy product, a consent platform, a data governance tool, the tracker tells you where the demand is coming from. Fines drive procurement, enforcement drives pipeline. The companies that bought your tool last quarter probably bought it because someone in their industry got named on this site. Here's the pattern that pops out once you spend an hour in the data. 2 articles drive most of the biggest fines. Article 5, general data principles, and Article 6, having a legal basis to process data in the first place. Those aren't technical failures. Those are consent and purpose failures. Boring, yes. Expensive, apparently billions. And before any American company says this is a European problem, it's not. GDPR reaches any company holding data on European residents. And the US is catching up fast. CCPA in California, CPRA, new state laws stacking up every quarter. The enforcement tracker is a preview of what enforcement looks like when regulators decide to actually use the law. So the takeaway is simple. Enforcementtracker.com is one of the most underused free resources in cybersecurity and privacy. If you are a CISO, a board member, an insurer, an investor, or a founder building in this space, bookmark it. Read the top 10 fines in your sector. Read the top 3 in your country. You will learn more in 30 minutes than in a quarter of compliance theater. And one more thing, reading enforcement data is great. Surviving an actual incident is a different sport. Surefire Cyber is a Gula Tech Adventures portfolio company. In real life, Ron Gula sits on their board. They specialize in cyber insurance incident response, meaning when a policyholder gets hit, Surefire is the team that walks them through the response, the forensics, the regulator notifications, and the recovery. The kind of work that keeps a company off the next page of the enforcement tracker. Read the data, plan the defense, and know who you're calling at 3 a.m. That's the show. And hey, if this was useful to you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We cover cybersecurity, privacy, policy, and the threat landscape in a way that's meant to be actionable, not just alarming. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one.